Redacted Board. I am Vlad St. Valentine. With me is the host with the remotest, Mr. Caidan Ramos. What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. We just read some pretty cool books. Pretty neat ending to the King in Black series.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were saying, the penultimate issue because we're going to, I guess, conclude in issue 200.
Yeah. That in Donnie's run.
That's going to be the end of Donnie's run?
Mm-hmm.
Oof. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that. Golly. Oh, man. I'm going to have to cancel Venom. I always give the new person one issue and see how it goes at least. But
I haven't read to see who's taking over, but
I canceled Detective Comics. I canceled Batman Superman when the new people took over after one issue, and I canceled what was the other one I gave one issue to, and it sucked, and I had to cancel it also. Justice League after Snyder's run after 40. I was like, nah, I'm done. So I think it's Bendis on it now, and I gave Bendis his Green Lantern 2 issues. I'm like, this is awful. I couldn't stand it. I didn't like the art on it either. I was like, can't look at this. I'm done. So we're going to start with Venom 34, and we're going to go ahead and do Venom 34 and King in Black 5 for you guys tonight. Just wrap up this whole little series here. And both books, not a whole lot happened, but you had to you drug it out with every moment being a long kind of epic moment. So this was the culmination of everything and the final defeat of Null. Spoilers, sorry.
not like that wasn't the plan. You
Yeah,
know?
shit. Yeah, if you didn't see that coming, guys, well, you're probably not old enough to be watching our channel.
Go to sleep.
Go watch some Minecraft videos or something. I don't know. What do you guys do?
PewDiePie or Markiplier, one of those two.
Yeah. I'm not making fun of PewDiePie because God knows that's a death sentence for a channel. He's a fine person, I'm sure. I just, different age demographic, I imagine. That's all. He's fine. Calm down.
Don't hit us.
So in Venom 34, we start off with Eddie is where he was last time. Obviously, Null is holding him over the abyss inside the hive mind, this underworld, or this representation of Null. And they do try and flesh out a little bit more for us what exactly he is. He is a memory within the Codex, like we said, but he can be brought out, like we were speculating, of the code of the hive, or of this, representation of the hive, this underworld, so to speak, to the real world, by piggybacking, on a symbiote.
Yeah.
So that's what happens here. Null is, has an avatar of himself here, a representation that's dealing with Eddie Brock, or the codex of Eddie Brock, what's left of him, the memory. But it's not really focused because it's dealing with stuff, in the real world as well. And the Venom symbiote's able to find Eddie within the codex and bond to him again and bring him up into the real world. And that's when we get, we thought if you thought Dragon, anti-Venom was cool, Kaiju Venom was even cooler. Because we got King Kong sized Venom that even does a skyscraper grab. You know? Like all he was missing was Fay Ray in his hands.
Well, no, because he ends up grabbing Null too. So.
That's true.
But no, it's great. I can't wait for King Kong versus Godzilla versus Venom. HBO get on that.
Oh yeah. Get Tom Hardy in on that one. See what's going on. Could you just picture Tom Hardy with like the Godzilla, like imagine they film it like they did back in the day when it's just the guys in the suit and like Tom Hardy and like the guy in the King Kong, like the guy in the monkey suit and the guy in the Godzilla suit are all sitting on the side drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes with their heads off.
Yeah.
Like, what are we shooting the next scene? I stepped on one of those models yesterday. Got splinters in my heel. I can't get them out. It hurts to walk.
Oh yeah, I know. I stepped on one of the toy trucks and it just rolled my ankle.
The worst, man. The worst. The little tankers. They're rounded. Oh, those things are terrible.
The Venom
hashtag kaiju problems.
The Venom paint just dripping down Tom Hardy's face. Just
So Kaiju Venom is reborn into the real world, and he goes after Null's physical self, the actual Null, the Null in the real world. And we get kind of a knockdown, drag out. Almost going to happen between them. Before you can get to him, before we can even get what we think is going to be our knockdown drag out, the God of Light that the Silver Surfer's been teasing for a while, just like looks like it basically vivisects that the Venom symbiote, and it just tears through his stomach, making him look like he gets the evil Ernie ribcage going on. And it basically rips away the codex from the symbiote again. You know,
Yeah.
he starts feeling himself fall or whatever he is, that incorporeal form of Eddie Brock. But, you know, which was something I was worried about because I was like, all right, this is what Eddie Brock's going to be from now on. He's just going to be a incorporeal form inside of a symbiote. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks, but hey, it is what it is.
Rex lived like that forever, you know?
I don't know. Something about it seems a little cheap. But
Yeah, that's what I was expecting too. The whole Rex.
oh
Rex
yeah,
thing,
I was expecting exactly that. But this God of Light, this light symbiote, as we saw from the last one, it shows Eddie Brock and it brings actually his physical form back and brings him back to life, and he becomes what essentially looks, because it asks him to choose a form, and he just chooses the Venom look, but it's like Ghost Rider Venom in that he's got flaming eyes and like a flaming chest sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
So I guess fire doesn't fuck with him anymore. So light symbiote brings back the physical form, which is cool. We don't have to deal with just Ghost Eddie in a symbiote anymore. We actually get Eddie Brock back, and Dragon Ghost Flash in the Anti-Venom Dragon is like, holy shit, you know, Kaiju Venom. He wants some help, and he's like, hey, you know, when Carnage got a hold of one of those dragons, he was able to bring himself back from the dead. He didn't say that so many words. He's like, why don't you go back to your dead body and see what you can do with it, you know? That's how we end this one, actually, is Anti-Venom, you know, Flash's Codex flying the one of the dragon symbiotes back to, you know, his gravestone and kind of melting like a pat of butter into an English muffin, and then his hand busting out of it. So something about that, though, I always thought, and something I contended in some of our previous issues, was that Carnage or Cleus Cassidy was basically just a corpse that was being piloted by his Codex and his symbiote, and that it was just using the physical form as something to move around, because I didn't realize they could just exist or physically form themselves up like in a full form as a human, like Rex did for years, and then B, I didn't realize it brought him back completely, as we saw with Flash, because that's what they reference, is that Flash, from the looks of it, is like resurrected himself essentially.
Yeah.
So I guess that means that Cletus Cassidy had also resurrected himself, which was weird though, because he still had they made a point to make him look more skeletal. He had like a rib cage, you know, and his spinal cord was kind of showing within the symbiote when he had the symbiote on. To me, it always implied he was, again, just the corpse was desiccated, but you know, his mind was there because of the codex inside the symbiote. So I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of retconning, maybe it's just a little bit of convoluted storytelling, maybe I just don't get it because I'm dumb. It could be a number of things.
Yeah, we haven't read the entirety of Venom up to this point either, so we don't know how long he's been dead either.
That is true.
So
I did hop in at Absolute Carnage, and there was plenty of there was some stuff before that we did miss out on. There was
sorry, Donnie, don't hit us.
All right, here we go. Final book in this little mini series here.
Spoiler alert.
King in Black #5. Yes, and this is a spoiler cover, so
spoilers.
So this is basically one long issue of Venom being OPAF and just wrecking shop on Null's whole world. It's all this whole thing is. If you've been, all right, so like all of us have our favorite characters, right? That we care about, we love, we hope for years and years and years that everyone else loves them as much as we do, and that they're shown their proper respect and their due. But unless you're like a Wolverine fan, you know, or a Captain America fan, you're usually not getting it, right? Or a Spider-Man fan. Captain America didn't get shit until the movies, right? Sorry, take that back, Cap. Or even Iron Man didn't get shit until Robert Downey Jr. brought him back. So what I'm saying is there's some of these characters you just wait for years. So imagine Iron Man fans, he had been a borderline B-lister forever, and Robert Downey Jr. sparked the MCU with him. Imagine Iron Man fans everywhere were like just so happy they saw a live action representation that did it justice.
Yeah.
So in that same vein, I've established, and you guys watch this channel many times over, my two favorite characters as a child were Venom and Deadpool and Gambit. 3 characters. Deadpool got his due eventually, to the point where it became annoying, and now everyone who likes Deadpool I kind of hate. So I feel about Deadpool the same way I feel about Rick and Morty. I enjoy it personally, but I hate the fan base. I don't hate the fan base. I take that back. I'm sure there are plenty of good people out there like myself who just enjoy it, but there are some people who are super obnoxious and make it their entire personality to like these things, and that is ridiculous. You should never make being a fan of something your entire personality, unless it's Doctor Who up until the 50th anniversary. Venom has had not a bad run as far as being given credit goes, because he was always treated as one of the toughest characters in Spider-Man, but he's never been seen as an A-lister. You know what I mean? He's been one of the more popular characters, but he's never been the. I mean, I couldn't say he's never been the star of something because he's started his own series, but he's never moved up to that same level. When you think about your Mount Rushmore of DC or your Justice League and or your Avengers or whatever, just Venom ain't there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then Topher Grace, and then a passable movie with Tom Hardy. It wasn't good, but it's as good as any movie that can't be tied directly to the MCU and the Marvel Universe is going to be these days, because they can only say so much. And you're like, we know what we're talking about. We know what you're talking about. Quit dancing around it. This is annoying. It's like not being able to say mutants, and the Avengers. That shit's annoying. The fact that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are not mutants, then we can't refer to the fact that Magneto's their father. The fact that we can't see the X-Men with the Avengers during all this bullshit has just been slightly aggravating. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, I'm digressing.
No, it's perfectly valid.
We finally get in this issue right here. Donny Cates is just jizzing all the Venom love he possibly can all over the pages of this issue. It is a Venom-gasm. Venom is just OP. Like Donny Cates broke into, he pulled the game genie out and plugged it in and gave himself infinite lives and God mode, and gave himself like in Doom when you give yourself God mode and you get the yellow eyes. That's what happened to Venom in this issue.
Yep.
He literally got the Doom like yellow eyes because he was God mode Venom.
Yeah, and you said earlier that this was dragged out, but it was dragged out in an epic way. It is a long, just great way to tell this transformation.
Yeah, because it's all told over him taking Noel to the fucking woodshed. He gets spanked like a toddler in Kmart. Like, oh man. Like he got beat like he got that Catch Me Outside girl on a bad day. Like seriously.
And he leapfrogged. He was B+, A- tier list. And then he just leapfrogged over everybody into that S tier with Thor and Silver Surfer.
Well, something I put right here is that Donny Cates, for one shining moment, made Venom maybe the single most important character in the Marvel Universe. And only those of us who are reading this series will probably get that and appreciate that. But this has been a run that spanned, this storyline has gone over. It's been the epic thing that's crossed most of all the other comics.
Yeah.
It's been the big crossover event, and it's all been based around Venom and his redemption as a man and his redemption as a father. And it's been great. It's been the best storyline about dads and sons told in Marvel since Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is pretty hard to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Yondu made me cry. Way to go, Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. How do you go from being the worst dad in Mallrats to being one of the best dads in Guardians of the Galaxy 2? Man has range, that's all I'm saying.
He learned his lesson.
That's fair enough.
He learned his lesson.
Hey, man, you vomit up a couple of chocolate-covered pretzels that are covered in ass sweat.
Would you like a chocolate-covered pretzel? They're a little melty, but damn are they exquisite.
You tend to rethink your life choices.
Maybe I shouldn't mess with kids anymore.
Yeah, there's not a lot to say here because, all right, it starts off pretty epically with Silver Surfer turns his surfboard into a sword to make a stand against Noel. Noel calls the All Black, as his sword, and he's about to face down Silver Surfer. And he's like, "I remember you, and Silver Surfer's like, "Yeah, I remember you too." And I'm still not impressed, Noel. Bring it on, bitch. Mm-hmm. It's a great moment because Noel's like, you'll die, bro. I respect you. You're gonna die, bro. You gotta respect it. You're gonna die honorably. He's like, I may die honorably, but I'm not gonna die alone. And you got the cavalry charge, Cap, Avengers assemble, that nice moment because it's a suicide run, and it was. If they made this into a movie, this would have been that moment at the end of Endgame where everyone's charging the battlefield knowing that everything's going to be the end. Like the end of, what was the first one? Infinity War or whatever the fuck it's called. The first movie in this. I can't remember anymore. But yeah, it was the hopeless run. It was that moment that you could have had like right there. You built it up a little bit longer, have them do that charge. It's that you could have had that. You can repeat that same moment with this storyline that you had in Infinity War. So well done in the pages here, but it doesn't last very long because instantly Venom shows up, in his new form, light Venom. And of course, Noel's like, I've killed you twice. This is who this god chooses, this host who I've killed twice. It's just going to be easy, And Venom's like, oh, yeah, no. He just whips one hand out this way and goes, Mjolnir. Or he just whips his hand over here. Mjolnir flies out of Thor's hands into Venom's hands. And then he goes over here and the Silver Surfer's sword just flips into his hand, like away from Silver Surfer. He smashes him on the ground and they come up as this giant Venom-ass battle axe, which is probably one of the most metal things I've seen ever. Mm-hmm. Like the only thing that could have been more metal is if it had come up with strings on it and he turned it around and played Sacrifice by Motorhead.
Well, it's weird because it's very similar to the battle axe that...
Or Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden. Sorry. Could you see that? Like he's chasing after Noel with Run to... Like he's got the wings to the hills.
No, but what I was saying is...
It's Jack Black move.
Yeah, it's very similar to the battle axe that Carnage wields in Venom vs. Carnage. Okay. That little three issue run.
I haven't seen that. You have to show me the picture.
Yep.
I want to whip it out here.
Yeah, we'll put it up on the screen.
Maybe. See if I feel like it. He can say all he wants to. I'm the one that's got to edit this shit. Maybe. But Noel takes off. Eddie pursues him with the axe and his giant, cool, dragon wings. Chases, Noel down, and he has he's holding him from the ledge the way, he's done him twice. He's like reminding him of all the fear and hopelessness he's made him feel and stuff like that. And he does the whole Thor pushing the axe into the chest of Thanos thing and pushes the axe into Noel's chest and then rips the symbiote out and drops him bare naked the same way he did him. But then immediately jumps out and goes, oh, no, we're not done. Get your ass up. Like, yeah, hell yeah. All right. I wouldn't be done either. He's like, you want to talk about my son, motherfucker? Let's talk about my son. Then flies into the sun. But on his way to flying with the sun, he breathes fire on his face and melts his face some before he even gets there. It's like he couldn't wait to get to the fucking sun to throw him in the sun. He's like, I got to get a little bit of peace now and melt his face with my Godzilla breath.
Well, I don't know. Is it really him breathing? I thought it was just him blasting through the atmosphere.
He's holding like this. He looks like it looks like he's breathing fire from his mouth.
I thought it was just the speed at which he's going just burned him through the atmosphere.
That could very well be. Maybe I misread it, but the way they drew it, it looks like he's just spitting molten lava on his head.
Either way, both work.
It's so funny. Either way, because at this point in time, without his symbiote on him, Noel kind of looks like the dude from the cover of the Countdown to Destruction from Megadeth album.
He looks like Baron Up and Us.
Oh, from
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. After he annihilates Noel, he goes back to Dylan, and Noel's like, you can't get rid of me. There's a piece of me in Dylan. And Eddie goes down with the light god still in him. He's like, hey, and give me a second, dude. This is going to hurt. But basically Kali Ma's Dylan and pulls a Dalek out.
Yeah.
And, smushes it. And he basically rips the evil out of him. He's like, I made you a promise. You won't inherit this darkness from me. Wonderful father rescuing his son, even though he had to hurt him and put him through hell. But he did everything he could to do what was best and make it right in the end. And a wonderful conclusion. The God of Light thing leaves him and his actual symbiote returns. So, Venom again is Venom.
Not just his symbiote. Every symbiote.
But that's what we see afterwards. He starts hearing all the voices singing to them in their ancient language. And they're happy to be freed of Noel. And now Eddie is the new hive mind. He is the new god of the symbiotes. And Venom ascending is basically how we end with the symbiotes following after him is how we end this book here. And, there's a couple little cool cleanup moments like Blade with the vampires. After they're victorious, the vampire army start to turn on Blade. And they're like, Blade's like, I don't need any help when the Avengers call for me. So the vampire's like, why are we about to kill you? He's like, oh, I know what time it is. And as the black cloud dissipates, of course, it's daylight. And the vampire's like, because apparently none of those assholes have a Timex. So
it's good. It's funny because there's a spot in that moment where when the vampires turn on him, they're like, you didn't think we would let you walk away, would you, Blade? And Blade's like, honestly, I didn't think I hoped you wouldn't. Now
I don't feel bad about this.
Yeah. He's like, I was hoping for this fight. I got you all out here now. I can end as many of you as I can. And
Yeah, outside of Venom, Blake got the best ending here. Actually, he's the only one who really got a little cap of her an ending. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us in this conclusion of the King in Black run here. It's been a good run. Donnie Cates is a great writer. I will definitely miss, his stories over here at Venom, and I'll give the next guy a shot, but I make no promises. I'm very picky.
we'll get one more Donnie Cates run. We'll get one more. We get 35.
Venom 1 more book, yeah. But I mean, let's see who's taking over after that.
Yeah.
But guys, again, thank you so much. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, like, subscribe, go read some comic books, and say hi to your mother for me.